Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are unpacking a truly unprecedented national security operation. We're talking about a sprawling, highly sophisticated digital terror network that's been quietly operating literally right under our noses. And we're going to look at exactly how multiple law enforcement agencies across India are tearing it apart, piece by piece. The craziest part? The story we're getting into today is entirely real and is playing out right now on the smartphones of thousands of unsuspecting young people.
Just let this number sink in for a second. 481. Now that is not a follower count or the number of likes on a post. That is the staggering number of suspects and criminals detained in a single, massive 48-hour nationwide sweep. We're talking heavily coordinated raids across Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, UP, MP, and Maharashtra. I mean, when law enforcement moves on that kind of scale, hitting 7 states all at exactly the same time, it instantly tells you the immense magnitude and the absolute urgency of the threat they're dismantling.
And look, this wasn't just some digital sweep for online trolls. The immediate, tangible danger they uncovered is pretty terrifying. During the arrest of 8 key suspects, the Delhi Police Special Cell seized stolen vehicles, 4 Pakistan-made hand grenades, 2 Glock pistols, and 24 live cartridges. So you know these guys weren't just planning to stir up localized trouble online. Authorities have made it clear they were in the final stages of orchestrating major kinetic attacks across the country. The physical hardware here proves, without a doubt, that we are dealing with a highly resourced, highly dangerous operation.
Which brings us to the central burning mystery of this whole explainer. Who is the mastermind actually pulling the strings here? Who has the money, the reach, and the very specific skill set to coordinate hundreds of operatives across India without ever physically crossing the border? Well, the answer is probably going to change how you look at the content popping up on your social media feeds.
Section 1. Influencer turns terror mastermind.
So, the Trojan horse of our story today isn't some shadowy militant hiding in a bunker somewhere. No, it is a viral social media influencer who has allegedly weaponized his entire digital platform to wage a proxy war. It's an absolutely wild modern deception. On one hand, you have his public persona, Shahzad Bhatti. Online, he curates this perfect image of a successful businessman, a dedicated social worker, and a religious commentator. He built this massive brand around the number 333, making these super engaging videos about India-Pakistan relations. But then you look at the reality. According to Indian security agencies and Pakistani police records, Bhatti actually has a long criminal history. He's a known affiliate of a Baltistan extortion gang, and he is now identified as a prime terror suspect, allegedly operating with the direct backing of Pakistan's ISI. It is just a staggering contrast, a carefully curated public image masking a very clinical, dark reality.
Let's trace how this evolution actually happened, because, it didn't just happen overnight. Back in 2013, over in Pakistan's Punjab province, Bhatti was facing some really serious local charges: theft, robbery, even allegations of rape. By 2015, to escape the heat, he flees to Dubai, claiming he's starting a dairy business. But it was there that he allegedly linked up with the notorious Farooq Khokar gang from Balochistan, eventually becoming a key member. Fast forward to 2024 and 2025, and he completely pivots to the digital world. He builds this 333 brand, racking up followers, which agencies believe was just the perfect cover to start orchestrating an international terror network.
Section 2. The Digital Recruitment Pipeline.
So how exactly did Bhatti turn everyday people scrolling on their phones into active terror suspects? How do you build a literal army using platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube? Well, it's a deeply methodical psychological grooming process. Step 1. His network identifies vulnerable, easily impressionable youth in India on social media. Step 2. They just initiate casual private messaging. Just friendly chats. Step 3 is the real hook. They escalate it to direct video calls with Bhatti himself. This is where they lure them with promises of quick cash, social media fame, showing off weapons, and the ultimate prize: settling in a foreign country. Finally, step 4. Before they ever ask them to commit violence, they assign small, seemingly harmless recon tasks, like, say, taking a quick photo of a specific building. It's a classic boiling frog scenario, slowly drawing these kids past the point of no return before they even realize what's happening.
And to really grasp the gravity of this, we have to talk about the organizational backing. Indian agencies are clear that this is not a lone wolf operation. Bhatti is reportedly supported by handlers from Pakistan's ISI, with officials specifically naming individuals like Abid Jat and Yawar Khan. Plus, investigations have linked Bhatti to a group calling itself Tehreek-e-Taliban Hindustan, or TTH. And their tactics on the ground are very specific. Recruits in places like Delhi and Faridabad were actually instructed to spray paint TTH on public walls along with the letter S to signal Shahzadbadi's direct involvement. It's basically a branding exercise meant to spread localized fear.
Section 3. High-profile targets and gangs.
So, what were these young, indoctrinated operatives actually instructed to do once they were fully absorbed into the network? Well, we aren't just talking about random vandalism anymore. They were actively targeting police officers across UP and Punjab. They were gathering security details on a historical temple in Delhi to study how paramilitary forces were deployed. In Haryana, they actually recorded videos of a military establishment and sent them straight back to Patti. Operatives even admitted to sending the GPS coordinates of crowded hospitals and major political party offices. They even mapped out a popular roadside eatery on the Delhi-Sonabit highway for a potential grenade attack. The escalation from just sending a DM to plotting mass casualty events is terrifyingly fast.
And guys, these weren't just idle plans drawn up on a whiteboard. These plots came incredibly close to happening. In Uttar Pradesh, a targeted police officer was surveilled and literally only survived because the attacker's weapon happened to malfunction at the very last second. Meanwhile, on his own social media, Bahati has brazenly claimed responsibility for the killing of 3 police personnel in Punjab, even releasing related videos to boost his network's terrifying street cred.
Then there's the direct weaponization of his online rivalries. On March 16, 2025, there was an actual grenade attack on the house of a fellow content creator, YouTuber Roger Sandhu, in Jalandhar. According to an active National Investigation Agency charge sheet, Bhatti was a key conspirator in that attack, using heavily encrypted apps like Signal and Telegram to direct local operatives to carry out the strike.
But you know, in the criminal underworld, alliances are notoriously fragile. See, Bhatti actually used to have friendly, very publicly visible ties with the notorious Indian gangster Lawrence Bishnoi. They even had viral video calls together. But a massive geopolitical rift happened after the Pahalgam terror attack last year. Bishnoi publicly supported India, while Bhatti took the opposing side. That fallout sparked a violent international gang war. In fact, a key member of the Bishnoi gang claimed a February 2026 attack against Bhatti himself, all the way over in Portugal.
So, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that Bhatti's involvement goes way, way beyond localized terror plots or YouTube beefs. It bleeds straight into major national security threats. His network reportedly helped the shooter involved in the high-profile killing of political leader Baba Siddique flee India. On top of that, Bhatti has been accused of issuing direct death threats to top-tier figures, including former Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and veteran actor Mithun Chakrabarti. His digital reach is incredibly long and, frankly, incredibly dangerous.
Section 4. Dismantling the digital network. We've seen the threat, so now let's talk about the resolution. How are multiple Indian agencies, from the NIA to state anti-terrorism squads, actively tearing down this massive web? Well, it's a huge, multi-pronged counteroffensive. Agencies actively tracked over 500 mobile numbers and social media accounts to map out the entire network. That tracking is exactly what led to the massive detention of 481 suspects across 7 states that we talked about earlier. But there is a really important detail here. Approximately 20 youths in Delhi weren't just thrown in a cell. They were brought in, professionally counseled, and asked to delete their accounts. Authorities recognize that a lot of these recruits are just vulnerable kids manipulated by a master groomer. Breaking that radicalization pipeline requires intervention and counseling just as much as it requires tactical arrests.
Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. When social media fame becomes a literal weapon, when a simple like or a follow can be the very first step in a recruitment pipeline orchestrated by a terror mastermind thousands of miles away, how do we actually spot the real threats hiding in our daily feeds? Shahzadbadi's story proves that the modern frontline isn't always a physical border. Sometimes it's right inside our pockets. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay sharp and always keep questioning what you see online.